right, now, and while John's here, I want to talk about our NHL free agency and what teams we feel are going to be doing better. Some are going to be doing bad. Sometimes some teams we think that are just going to be interesting. And I guess if we're going to start with the teams that are going to be bad going up, my pick for that is going to be Utah, the Mammoth. I feel like their new owners have the will, the backing, the money, whatever you want to call it, to try to push them forward. They get the new arena or a new arena for them, compared to the Coyotes. But also, if you look at their roster and how they're structured now, they've got a nice young mix of younger players, vets, and I feel like they just well rounded it out really well. And I feel like their coach has been doing good things for them. So I kind of think that Utah, if all the teams at the bottom, is one that could move up. And, of course, in every division, you got to find that team that might go down because one has to go down for another one to come up. But I feel like of everybody, that one's got a good chance to kind of break out. What do you got?
There's three main teams that I think could do considerably better, possibly. The first one I would start with is the Predators, just because you can't do much worse than they did.
Well, that was going to be my interesting pick because with the Predators, like you said, they can't do much worse. But the year prior, right, they had that free agency that was just like baller.
Correct.
And that they're just like living here in denial and saying that like something it just had to be bad luck. Because like how could you have these great players and then just all of a sudden just be bad?
I think in hockey it takes sometimes teams a little longer to gel when you get that many new players.
Exactly.
And I think that after that season that they just had with the adversity, that maybe they're going to come together this season and play better collectively and individually. So I definitely think, and plus the Predators still have really strong goaltending.
They do.
Unless for some reason it's the end of the goal, like they just start to do terrible, but they still have really good goaltenders. They have they are set in net, and they have capable
good defense. Historically good defense.
Exactly, and they still have, I think, what most people consider one of the top 5 defensemen in the NHL, and they have scorers. I mean, they have guys that can score goals. Just last year, they weren't scoring enough. But definitely, I think they can move up. The other team that I think has a chance to do a good bit better is the Canadians. Everybody in Canada would probably be happy to hear that, especially in Montreal. But they say that every year about the Canadians, and it never seems to happen. But I think they might finally be turning a corner. The correct injection of youth, combined with some guys that have been in the league a few years now.
You've got young guys are finally become experienced enough to how to move the needle.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another team I'd keep my eye on. And then my sleeper, I don't know if I would call it a sleeper, and I'm not sure that they might not make the playoffs. I would think the Predators could end up making the playoffs. I could see the Canadians for sure doing better than they did last year. They did make the playoffs last year, and they got destroyed in the first round, I believe.
Yeah.
The other team that I could see, I'm not sure I would put money on them actually making the playoffs, but is the Ducks. And the Ducks have been pretty bad for a few years now. But I could see them possibly putting it together and making a run for the playoffs this season, because they have definitely been one of the worst teams in the league. I mean, I'm talking bottom 3 teams for a few years now. They've made some interesting trades, but I think similar to the Predators last year, the Ducks got a lot of new faces, so that's going to probably depend a lot on the coaching and if those guys can gel.
They got Joel Quenneville now. That's kind of a wild card to me. I mean, the guy's got huge success, but is it relevant now today?
That's actually a really good point. And the reason one of the reasons that he wasn't in the NHL for a while was because
Chicago and all that mess he had was down there.
Yeah, so it wasn't necessarily hockey related reasons. It was It was external, the badness that happened.
Yeah,
Not necessarily his ability as a
as a coach. Well,
yeah.
yeah, but it was still a different time, and times do change, and but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, he's got all that experience. I mean, but
The one team I'm also interested in, I'm not necessarily sure if they're going to do much better or much worse, but to go along with that point of things changing in the NHL is um, I'm obviously very familiar with Mike Sullivan as you are, being Penguins fans, and I have not been on the Mike Sullivan bandwagon for a few years now. I got off that a few years ago, and I'm very interested to see if his system, if he changes his system at all, because he seemed to really want that system, no matter what players he had. And
I
I'm
uh,
interested to see what he does in New York now.
I 100% agree with you on this. I mean, whenever the Penguins started to do poorly, well, the Rangers were doing bad too. And I just felt like with the Rangers, what they did was they went big money hunting. They just went, we want the top guy on the market. And but if you look at the system that Sullivan does and what Laviolette was doing there, it ain't that much different. So are you gonna tell me that just because he goes in there and he says he's honest with players, that's gonna be enough to change everything around? That's highly debatable. And like the whole speed system, it's not. If you watch what the Panthers are doing now, it's not just about speed anymore. It's also about a heavy game. And Sullivan does not play a heavy game at all.
That is very true. He wants that fast game, but it's hard to get a team where everybody can play that exact same system. And instead of catering his system to each individual player, like different lines, he wants them all top all six defensemen. He wants playing the same way. It seems to me sometimes
Right.
when your bottom pair aren't going to be the best skaters. There's a reason they're the bottom pair.
Right.
And they should, common sense, I would think, would say that they should be the defensive shutdown pair, or at least try to, maybe not have them activate as much. But no, he doesn't like to coach and doesn't like to have his team that way.
No, he
So
doesn't.
it'd be interesting. I'm going to be interested to see what happens with the Rangers. I think that they have a chance to do better, obviously, because last year, I mean, they shocked everyone by doing poorly. But then again, I don't know because he wasn't necessarily making everybody happy in Pittsburgh, and the Penguins haven't had a lot of success in the past few years. So it's going to be really interesting to follow.
We're gonna find out how good of a goalie Shesterkin really is. I can tell you that. Because
Yes,
he's facing a lot of odd man rushes next year.
100%. Yes, 100% correct. That is going to be really interesting.
All right. So, what teams that are good do you think are going to be bad? Potentially be bad.
I mean, the number one team on my list is the Capitals. I can see them regressing, and the main reason for that is just that Ovechkin is amazing. He is scoring still a ton of goals, and he's like, I mean, he's totally gray. I mean, he's an older dude now, so at some point, I think his goal scoring ability is going to go from 30s, 40s, 50 goals a year down to 15. And if that happens this next season, or if he's injured for an extended period of time again, or longer, I can see them regressing. Now, how far? I'm not exactly sure. Missing the playoffs, I wouldn't say that necessarily. But they have done a good job there, retooling that team, around an aging superstar.
I think with the Capitals, a lot of their success goes to, and like where they might regress is I would agree with is that they last season they may have just found lightning in a bottle, where
That, yeah.
everything just happened to come together. They had the nice the guys that picked up in trade, the young guys, free agents, everything just seemed to just pop at the right time. And as far as last year goes, I'm not sure Ovechkin was as big of a factor because they were doing well even when he wasn't performing well.
That is true. That is true.
And so I think the coach gives a lot of credibility to that. But to your point, whether or not they can consistently keep that up, year in year out, find that same magic they had this past year, I agree, that's highly debatable.
Yeah, and the NHL has so much parity that there's gonna be teams that come out of nowhere this year, and there's gonna be some teams that drop out of nowhere. Just like every year. So, but yeah, I think the most exciting team to watch is definitely gonna be the Stars. I think this year though.
Absolutely. I think if there's any team that can get there and actually push to the next level, going to go up, it's going to be the Stars. I mean, Florida can't keep winning forever. Somebody's going to have to go up there at some point and knock them off. And I think they have the best chance. I hate to say that to all your Oilers fans, but unless they do something drastically different, either in their system or make some massive trade, it's hard to see how they're gonna. I mean, that's two times they lost to the Panthers. I mean, to be the man, you got to beat the man, and you still haven't beat the man. So we're gonna. I know that's probably gonna be frustrating for you guys, but I still think Dallas, even though the Oilers beat Dallas last year pretty handily, they changed coaches though. So Dallas changes coaches. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, and the Oilers, McDavid, he's still trying to cement that legacy, and without a cup, I mean, it doesn't seem like his legacy is going to be as stellar as it needs to be. But yeah, the Oilers, kind of like in the same vein as the Panthers, those are two teams also that if we're talking about the regular season, they're tired. They've played a lot of hockey the past 2 years. So the results in the regular season may not mirror their potential in the playoffs. Those are both playoff hardened teams now, especially the Panthers. But getting through the NHL season is a huge grind. Matt, I think it's the hardest professional sports league to get through an entire season. And you can see even the Panthers last year. I mean, they weren't anywhere near the top in the regular season point totals. But come playoff time, they know how to take care of business. Same thing with the Oilers. So as far as scoring goes, I like both of those teams in the playoffs, and I like them progressing in the playoffs. But to be one of the top 2 or 3, 4 teams scoring in this league, I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket for either of them. A lot of hockey's been played by both of those teams.